Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Embraer TV. We're live here from the Singapore Air Show 2018, and unfortunately today is our final day of coverage, but we still have loads to look forward to. I'm your host, Arthur Williams, and as always, we'll have our reporter, Fernando Tiberini, out on location here at the show, bringing you all the insight and behind-the-scenes look into the happenings of what's going on. But before we go any further ahead, let's remind ourselves about what took place yesterday. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Singapore Air Show. We are live here from Embraer TV at Changi Airport.
48 years of innovation for the company across defense, executive jets, commercial, and our defense systems business. That innovation is the original DNA of the fabric of our products.
You have to show your aircraft if you want to sell your aircraft. That's the key right there.
Singapore is an amazing city. It's a city-state built on an island. It's a multicultural melting pot. And here I am standing in front of the iconic Marina Bay Sands.
We talked to passengers, we talked to the airlines. We made a very big and bold move, avoiding the middle seat. The result is the most successful airplane in the market today.
This jet, on this generation of jets, is all about profit hunting.
Embraer is a sort of flagship company for Brazil. It gets the best of our engineers and it brings us the Brazilian character abroad. I think the ingenuity, the creativity, and this optimism to go against all odds.
Yesterday really was an amazing day. We had fantastic insight into particularly the executive jet side of Embraer, but we also had a look at the E2 as well. Now today we're going to have a bit of fun. For everybody that's been getting involved with social media, we've got a bit of a quiz for you. Using the hashtag @Embraer or the Embraer TV hashtag, we're going to pose a question for you. Now the question is this: which Embraer family of jets is also known as the Profit Hunter? Which Embraer aircraft is also known as the Profit Hunter? The answers are A, E-Jet, B, ERJ, or C, E-Jet E2. So if you think you know, do get in touch. Social media, Facebook comments, YouTube comments, or Twitter using the hashtag Embraer TV. And the top 3 people that get in touch with the correct answer stand a chance of winning this. It's an Embraer branded polo shirt with a beautiful Profit Hunter embroidered on it there. But you also get this. Now I've got one of these at home and they're amazing. It is a beautiful E-Jet E2 die-cast model. Look at that. So if you want to win these, get in touch on social media if you think you know the answer, and we'll reveal the answer in the show a little later on this afternoon. Now then, yesterday I spoke to Arjan Meijer about the E2 jet in detail. Now I'm joined by Arjan Meijer, who's the Chief Commercial Officer for Embraer Commercial Aviation. Arjan, thank you very much for joining us. How's the show going for Embraer?
It's been a great show so far. We have lots of customers visiting, very busy agenda. We have our beautiful E2 with us, so we're really happy to bring the E2 190 to show it to the public, also with the tiger on the nose, so it's a really great show for us so far.
Now let's talk about the E2 for quite some considerable amount of time, because it is a beautiful aeroplane. It's the flagship of the fleet. We've got it right here. We've got a lot of effort of painting this beautifully striking livery on the front. How is the E2 going to fit in within Asia?
Well, that's a great question. I think we are very, very positively looking forward to the E2 in Asia. We think this is an aircraft with great potential, especially our E2 195, which is going to be the biggest aircraft in the family. It's got incredible economics. It's a paradigm shift from the past, where we had, where normally you see the smaller aircraft who have a lower trip cost but quite a bit higher unit cost. I think the E2 family really breaks with that tradition. It's got significantly lower trip cost but very comparable seat cost. So for airlines it offers the opportunity to fly a smaller airplane, being able to connect secondary, tertiary airports, avoiding the very congested airports with a smaller gauge equipment. So I think it's a very, very attractive asset for the region. And with the certification coming up this year and the first deliveries, gearing up to next year, the 195 E2, I think we're creating some great momentum.
Now let's talk about the certification, because this is an aeroplane that hasn't just met its targets, it's outperformed them.
Absolutely. Well, Embraer is really proud on the E2 program so far. The program is ahead of planning, it's on budget, and we deliver the aircraft better than spec. So on fuel burn, on training, on noise, on all those kinds of topics, I mean, we have improved our KPIs compared to what we set at the start of the program.
And what about the passenger experience with the aeroplane?
Well, the passenger experience has significantly improved. We have done a lot of changes to the cabin. We have a new business class concept with the staggered seating. We have increased the bin size, so we can now fit one full roller back per passenger, roller back in first, or so wheels in first, I should say. So that has improved. The lighting has improved on board connectivity. So we've done a lot to improve the service to the customer.
Now, for anybody that's here at the Singapore Air Show, you can actually come and see a live mock-up of the E2 at the Embraer stand, and I reckon that people should do it, because, like you said, there's the staggered seating in the business and first class aisles at the front, and that's unique on the E2, isn't it?
That's indeed unique, and it's not only good for the customers, who can now, instead of doing a 1 and 2, they can do a 2 and 2 configuration. So you can actually have a seat with more pitch for the customer. So it's a real luxury business class offering, but also for the aircraft owner, like lessors, it makes the aircraft more versatile. So the seats are now on the same seat track, so you can easily change your configuration. You don't have to change the bins if you move configuration. So I think it's a very new concept, which is beneficial to both customers and lessors.
Now, there's Widerøe over in Norway, who are a Norwegian operator. They've already going to take receipt of the aircraft soon, aren't they?
That's
How
correct.
important is it for people here in Asia and the Pacific to see somebody see an airline that's already operating the aeroplane as kind of a proven track record, if you like?
Yeah, I think in general it's important for our customers to see that the product gets certified. So we're really getting close to that. We finalized the test program, and also to see the aircraft go into service. And we're really happy with the initial customers that we have this year. So Widerøe is going to be the operator to introduce the 190 E2 as of April. The first revenue flight is actually scheduled for 24th of April. So it's a little more than only 2 months away. It's pretty soon, yeah.
How excited are you about that?
Oh, we're extremely excited. Yeah, and I think our teams are doing a great job with the team of Widerøe to prepare that entry into service. So we're looking forward for that, and I think Widerøe is a very professional airline. So we're very much looking forward to see how they operate with the E2, and I'm sure that's going to be an example to future E2 operators in the world.
How proud are you as an Embraer family to see the E2 being so successful in all of its test results, and Widerøe is about to be taken into service and things like that? How proud are you of this as a generation of jet?
I think we're extremely proud. I mean, we all know how difficult it is to develop a new jet on time, on spec, on budget. And if you look around, I mean, we've seen that has been a challenge. So we're really proud that Embraer has been able to launch its E2 product so far with such a positive track record. And that the first customers now can really see the aircraft coming and operate it in a live environment.
Talking about Asia and the Pacific specifically, how is E2 well suited for this region and area?
Well, I think the E2 is a great vehicle. It's got an incredible range. It's got an incredible short takeoff performance on short airfields. It is smaller than narrow bodies, and it offers similar seat cost seat mile cost, I should say, which makes the aircraft really attractive for the region to operate with smaller aircraft from smaller airfields with a higher level of profit, because you have fewer seats at similar seat cost.
Arjan, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
only imagine how exciting it must be for Widerøe, who are about to receive their first E2 generation of jets. Now, over the last couple of days, we've heard from airline operators and people who buy the aeroplanes about how beautifully efficient they are in terms of cost cutting. We've also heard from passengers about what it's like to fly inside the cabin and how comfortable the aeroplane is. But what's it actually like to fly? Well, Fernando went and found out as he spoke to one of the pilots.
So I'm here with Captain Fabiola. We're in the cockpit of the E190 E2 and you can see the Tiger livery covering the windows. If I look at this instrument panel here, it looks all really well laid out. What impresses you the most about it?
The display. Bigger display can give us more comfortable operations, and the second thing is the auto speed brakes, what can give us smoother and safer landing.
Now, would you say this is an easy aircraft to fly?
It is easier to fly because you can fly a full flight by wire.
And how would you say it differs from other aircraft you have flown?
The difference basically is the avionics that can be easier for us, and the aircraft can help all the crew.
And what can you tell us about the range of the E2?
Oh, for me the range exceeded my expectations by far.
Now I understand you've just flown in from St. Helena, an airport previously considered unflyable. Why is that?
Because St. Helena has a lot of winds, and then this can cause a wind shear, and is almost impracticable for most part of the aircrafts. Embraer proved that it's possible to operate there due to the shape and the technology of our aircraft.
Thank you very much, Captain Fabiola. And now back to the studio to Arthur.
Well, as a pilot myself, I can tell you that the cockpit layout in that aeroplane is quite sensational. The automation is unbelievable, and you can just see how simply everything is laid out. It looks like a beautiful space to be, and I can only imagine a beautiful aeroplane to fly. Now, Fernando touched on it there that St. Helena is an incredibly difficult airfield to land at because of wind shear and other elements, being stuck out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But let's take a look at exactly what it's like to fly at.
The winds never rest in the remoteness of the South Atlantic Ocean. Here, a small island emerges with great stories to tell. Once a natural fortress where the British Crown exiled its most dangerous enemies. Today, a destination filled with secret wonders. However, the journey is tough. 5 days by boat from South Africa. An airport was carved into the mountains, but was revealed to be too dangerous for commercial flights, for heavy winds crashed through the rocks and steep cliffs around it. The airway was locked. That was before the Embraer 190 arrived. Here Napoleon Bonaparte lived his last years. Here he laid down to nevermore. One can still feel the French Emperor and his broken spirit gazing at the horizon from these dungeon cliffs, so far from the continent he once ruled. On this land, time stands still. And Jonathan is its witness. He's the oldest terrestrial animal in the world. If he could talk, he would tell us stories about princes, soldiers and farmers for whom the island served as a prison. To some of them, as a final resting place. But for the saints, those born and raised here, it's a private paradise. They've grown deep roots in this volcanic soil. Kindness is all around, ready to be shared. yet quiet is the airport. Not today. 5 centuries after Portuguese navigators reached this island sailing the ocean, a Brazilian aircrew took a similar route, this time sailing the winds. Their ship, the first prototype of an advanced aircraft known worldwide, the Embraer 190. With capacity for up to 114 passengers and incorporating fly-by-wire technology, this aircraft model performed successful campaigns in many difficult airports around the world. Today's challenge: to prove that a commercial operation in Santa Helena's airport is viable and safe when you've got the right tool. After several successful takeoffs and landings, the aircraft collected enough data to guide future operations here. But the decision whether the airport should open its gates to the world relies on the islanders' needs and well-being. And as the Embraer 190 takes its path back through the clouds, leaving behind the impressive sight of Santa Helena's boundaries, one thing became clear. It was not the island which remained isolated throughout the centuries, but the rest of the world.
Well, what a beautiful film. Now, Embraer's ethos is to challenge, create and outperform. Challenge in taking the aeroplane there. Create, helping airlines provide new air routes, and outperform other aeroplanes that are incapable of producing the same results from similarly challenging airstrips. Now, we're nearly out of time for the first show for you today. But before we do, we're going to read out some of the comments and messages that you've been giving us via social media. The first one that we got is via YouTube from Nico. He said Embraer is the best aeroplane, not just in the simulator, but also in real life. And we tend to agree. After seeing it fly to St. Helena, you can't do anything but agree. We've also had comments on Facebook from Robbie. He's mentioned that today I start my training on the E195. Couldn't be happier to be back on an Embraer. Kind of jealous of him, actually. I wish I was flying the Embraer. But anyway, like I said, we've nearly run out of time. Do get in touch with us via social media, because don't forget we've still got the quiz running and you can find the questions all over social media. But from us here and the crew, we'll see you in a couple of hours. Take care.